All right, big question. How long is it going to take for me to get results? That's a pretty common one that I get. This one's highly variable. So if you think about even myself, like what I've been doing over the past few months, honestly, I haven't really been too strict about anything. I have been working out hard. I changed around the flow of my workouts a bit. I fast 3 days a week in the morning, so I don't eat breakfast 3 days a week. Um, the early part of my day is mostly protein, high protein meals. Um, Otherwise, I go out to a restaurant about two, sometimes even 3 times a week, where I really don't restrict what I eat. I just kind of what I talked to you about before is just focus on making sure that I'm getting protein in each meal. And so far, it's been about a 40-pound journey-ish, just like shy of that, like 38 pounds. Now, I have experience training. I've been training for 20 years now. I've gone through this before, just in different sort of ways and methods. This is actually the easiest sort of cut that I've ever gone through, just because I didn't do anything crazy. Um, and aside from that, I just like I know how to train. I'm already strong. These are pretty important factors when it comes to trying to make some change, because there's some certain sort of skills that have to be built up along the way. Now, can you make tremendous change in a short period of time? Yes. Um, will that change stick? That's the tougher part. And even to get that change rolling, you got to think about like the baggage that you come on board with. So if you've been struggling to see progress for months, maybe years, and now you come on board with this expectation of I want to lose like a crap ton of weight in the next like 6 weeks or so. Like, I mean, like you might be successful in the short term, given the right actions, but in the long term, I think that you're going to struggle if you haven't established the habits that are going to make you be able to keep that over the long term, which is really just examining kind of like your day to day and having to look at it and be objective about the idea that like what are your minimum commitments in terms of living the life that you want to live while still being in the body that you want to be in. For most people, that's making sure that like getting regular protein intake at each meal, eating slowly, and not overstuffing themselves all the time. Um, Alcohol consumption can be sort of like moderated, possibly, in some cases. Just getting regular sleep, managing stress in some capacity, um, just not having an overabundance of sweets, snacks, kind of lying around the house. One of my favorite sayings from John Berardi is like, if you know it's in your house, um, then somebody love, or moderately tolerate is probably going to eat it, and that's usually going to be you. So, how long is it going to take to get the results that you want? That's going to be highly dependent on you having the skills that you need to accomplish what you need, the discipline to not necessarily make lots of drastic changes. It's to make the right changes, and be consistent about them. Um, the consistency in your training, and is your training stimulating enough to create the effect that you want, and just being able to adjust on the fly. If something is not working, for one, you have to measure it. And as much as people don't like things like a scale, it has like a very complicated sort of relationship with most people. The way that we can at least have an idea of what's happening is like if we do have some sort of objective measure. So we have a body composition scale. Um, Outside of that, pictures, and then if we're looking for non-objective measurements, it's like how do you feel on a day to day? Do you feel crappy all the time? Are you low energy? Do things hurt? Like these are good indicators of like whether things might be working or not. But we gotta combine both. And when we combine those two things, and we can kind of see from day by day or week by week how things are progressing, then we can be really, really clear on what's working and what's not. That's kind of the first step. So again, like how long is it going to take? Honestly, it all depends. And I know that's a crappy answer to hear, but as a baseline, if it's taking you, um, honestly, 6 months to get out of shape, give it 6 months. If it's taking you 10 years to get out of shape, give it 10 years. I'm not saying it's going to take that long. I'm not saying that it's going to take that long for you to see change. If you've never been in the condition that you want to be in, then give it the time that it needs, and just take it in bite-sized chunks. And I guarantee you that the actual journey itself will be worth it. All right, hope that helps.